Yeah. Will somebody, is anybody going to kind of give us a little summary about the access request?
Sure. Abigail is the project manager overall, so I was
Want a physical description?
so or whatever. And she's muted.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Tracy, if you want to take it, that's fine. I can also do it. We're all on the same page, so it's up to you.
That's awesome. So actually, with regards to the existing project that we've been doing as far as the structure replacements and upgrades, when we got to one of your residents at 280 Morehouse, unfortunately, the easement would have actually
Want a physical description?
kind of blow through their gardens. She is a very proud gardener. And so they asked if we were willing to take a hike. So we went down a couple 100 feet and then went through the commission and found that it was kind of almost a direct shot into our right of way, which one would make it easier for us to be able to access without having to say do tree removals or any additional upgrades there, as well as kind of being great
Want a physical description?
that were right there. So we would not be changing anything from the beginning of the entryway up until I would say it's called midpoint, like where you have it's almost like an announcement board that's there. So right before there, we would actually put down matting, which is timber matting that would take it from there all the way to our right of way so that we would not be unearthing any of the soil or
Want a physical description?
that way. And I believe Abigail, we'd be there probably a few months, I would assume. That
Yeah,
one,
similar to the other portions of the project where we're looking to get in there pretty quickly, and then our outages end in the May timeframe. So we would be looking for access from essentially now until May, as part of the 1714 project.
Can you describe for
Want a physical description?
whoever wants to listen what timber matting is?
sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm presuming it's the same as what you're doing at like Brett Woods and the other places we
Correct.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
Want a physical description?
What that looks like. We see it from the roads.
Yeah.
Correct. That's exactly what we would be using so that once the heavy equipment goes, we can safely get the equipment over in the trucks without having to damage any of the ground there. So we would definitely be making sure that that's down and we would remove everything when we're done.
So what went through the property owner's garden, the right of way?
So the easement, yeah, so the easement and the right of way for the one resident, unfortunately, they do have a structure as well as a cell tower in their front yard. But for us to continue to access the one structure, we would have actually had to go through her gardens within that right of way. So we were trying to be a good neighbor. So that's why we were graciously asking if we could kind of use the cut through to be able to,
Want a physical description?
would be less disruptive to both neighbors there.
Want a physical description?
Sure.
If there's any disturbance or any reseeding that needs to be done, I would request that you use a native seed mix with native seed mix and erosion control and pollinator mix.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But can you just like describe for someone who's listening? Can you make like a visual description of the map for me relative to say the gate?
But I may have.
So that if someone,
Want a physical description?
just so that if someone was listening, they could understand where you mean.
Okay, so the access on the Morehouse, there's, I guess, like a small arm gate there. So from that point all the way to, I guess if you were looking at an angle, so if you go straight and then to do a 45-degree turn, but you're gonna go all the way down to pretty much you have to make a decision of either going right or left. There's
Want a physical description?
looks like an abandoned wooden like announcement board. And currently there's old asphalt there. But at the point that the asphalt stops and we go to make that right turn, all of that would have the timber matting.
Want a physical description of the timber matting?
Is it 4x4s?
It would be, the timber matting, as I understand it, is what you're doing, say, out at Brett
Down at
Woods.
Brett Woods, so they're
Yeah.
kind of, I call them kind of.
8x8s or something, or maybe 10x10s.
They're large timbers and, probably 4 foot wide, 8 or 10 foot long, and they're bolted together so that machines can run over them and not damage the ground. That distributes the ground pressure.
Correct.
And can you tell me some mine is timbers? Since I was asking. For example, what assurance can I have as just a person driving, about how, were they treated chemically? Have they been exposed to chemicals? What would be my assurance that there is not going to be something?
I
Reaching
think
out for
they're treated. Abigail may be able to answer that. I am
That's a
not
real
aware
concern
of
of,
any-
that's a real concern of mine is
Okay.
where the wood came from, how it's been compressed, if it hasn't been compressed, et cetera. I don't have knowledge, but I see, for example, at Brett Woods, the wood is abutting the wetland, it's in the wetland. And I've had conversations with a couple of people who are concerned, and I think they should have written to here.
Okay.
My concern is that there could be something that could be leaching out of them over time, especially since they're getting kind of crushed and beat up and stuff like that.
My personal experience is that because they do get beat up so badly and they don't last very long, that they don't spend the extra money to use pressure treated materials. They use raw timbers to do it. That's my experience when we've used them in the past, but I don't know what.
So any crushed wood that may
Yeah,
or
I've
may be
always-
left behind would be okay. That would be helpful.
It would be natural.
Yeah, natural wood. They really take a
Glad for your expertise.
I am not aware of it being treated with any chemicals. They're typically natural timber. I can follow up with you with that,
Yeah,
but
How about if we just,
Quickly, that would be helpful.
like, I'd like to get something that would reassure me.
I would assume
Okay.
that there are specs, right? You have some kind of a spec for the
Right.
timber.
Yeah.
The matting, just provide us with the
Well,
specs.
We have a
Okay.
we have a commissioner on the board who is an expert in the field, and he had just relayed to us that he believes, he's stated that they are just natural wood. But if you can get us something based on what you guys are using specifically, that would be helpful.
okay, that's fair.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Ted mentioned a spec sheet. If that
Yeah,
wasn't
there's a
her-
spec sheet. When they go to bid for
Yeah, Thanks.
supply, it
Yeah.
has to meet
I
specs.
can get that over to you tomorrow. That's not a problem.
Okay.
Coming through.
Helpful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Also, Luke, if I may, Tracy, per our conversation in the field, some of the matting may crush. There's a grove of knotweed, Japanese knotweed in that area, which would be helpful to us to put the matting over that. And also, if you could just elaborate for the record, what our discussion about possible intermittent trail closure
Coming through.
users would know just in that area.
One, we want to be sure that we know a lot of the local residents actually go through like walking their dogs and so forth. So at points where we would have some of the equipment deliveries there, if we knew there was going to be heavy traffic, there would be temporary trail closures, but not for the entire duration. It's just going to be intermittent, say for deliveries or in the mornings, like when we know our trucks are actually be coming through. We just want to be sure that everyone remains safe at that time. And we can actually, if we, once they get scheduled, if I know that, say there's a half day or what have you, based off of deliveries, we can give you advance notice if we, I know I've been
Yeah.
sharing stuff with Jen.
We would really highly suggest advance notice.
Okay,
I will take some effort to distribute it to, let's call them dog people. But I mean, I think that's really critical to me.
Yeah.
I think for the Facebook group too. For what, I'll tell you what, for one thing that's happening at Brett Woods is I've been out there and it's pretty much shut. And just so we are, frank, I'm not happy with that. There's times when you kind of get caught up in there and you can't get out because they're using the central road. And I've been out there where they're delivering and doing too much in too many places.
okay,
And so for the Facebook group too, don't want to be having to see any conversations about why is the trails closed, as much
Okay.
as you can avoid it. So
And
you
we-
can, I would love to get that information because I'll do my best to get it right out there.
okay. And
Yes,
if we need to do temporary signage to be able to throw up on those
Yeah.
moments, if
Yeah.
it's gonna be. a
On the
half hour,
bulletin board.
we could look at that. Yeah, we could use that board. So if you'd like that as well, I think
I'm gonna
that's
send
great.
it- I'll send it
Supplemental.
right to the Facebook group too.
Okay,
She's 2 doors down from me.
Yeah, I think the key is the advance notice will be helpful, that then we here and various people can then spread it and disseminate the information even further
okay.
to other commissions, other departments, other groups. So that would be very helpful.
No, that's fair. And the
Um,
first selectman's office has been really good to us as well. I've tried to provide them information to be able to share on Facebook as well about the project and where we're at with it. So to me, there's no such thing as over communicating. So anything I can do to make your lives easier on this and not have to hear it, I will do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So this is it's a request. Is it, just have a motion to approve, and that would be what we're looking for?
I think so,
And
just
just
to
to be, I'm sorry, I
formalize it.
didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted you to also know, this is kind of step one. So as long as we get your nod, we'll actually have to then submit the request to the Connecticut Siting Council. And primary reason that we're looking for is again, to be courteous of the residents that are there. So
The questions, Commissioner?
it would still be a timing that we have to get approval from the Siting Council for the change as well.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of sensitivity in this town right now about.
Siting Council.
I am fully aware.
Yeah. All right, any other questions, Commissioners? No, and any motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the access request by Eversource.
Commissioner Fain's made a motion to approve,
Second.
and Commissioner Luxinger has seconded that. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Greatly appreciated and thank you for the time and consideration. And I will do the follow-up items with, I'll get them through Tim and make sure that everybody gets them.
Thank you, Tracy.
Gonna be some,
Very welcome. Thank you.
All right, we're moving on. New business number 2. The Connecticut DOT Kings Highway West Bridge Project.
yes, so, according to the map and some of the documents provided by Condot, this is, if you know the area, close to the Westport border. There's a concrete bridge near, adjacent to our open space, that there's gonna be some, I'll call it encroachment, for the bridge replacement project. It's very minor, as you can see on the drawing provided, in paper and was the agenda cloud. Right to remove and reset a wood fence for 19 plus minus linear feet, and right to install sediment erosion control 75. It's linear feet. And the biggest part is really the drainage right of way, for 156 square feet. It's right on the shoulder, but adjacent to our open space. The state is compensating the town by $1,100 for the for the space related to the project. I don't see any problems, but the it's hearing and the state DOT project manager I met with week before last. So I just wanted to, this will still come before the commission and the agency, but wanted to get it on everyone's radar as far as wetlands permitting.
For any opportunity to do any improvements, remove knotweed, do any good planting or
Right.
restoration in that area?
It's possible. There's a stand of Atlantis there that Forest Service is using as an experiment right now. So, it's possible. I just don't know how, how much pull we have with the state to,
This is the time we have pull, so.
yeah. Certainly you could try when the application comes for wetlands. Yeah. And, but just wanted to get on everyone's radar that it's a minor encroachment on town open space by the state. Soon as you cross that bridge, we got Aspatuck and the town of Westport. Open space is there as well. This, if you could picture, is Kings Highway West, from the post road, make a left where that pink shop is.
Yeah.
It's right down there, yeah.
People who've been around, excuse me, it's right behind the old Friendlies.
Right.
When he used to exit out the back.
Yeah.
Right there.
Is that considered freshwater or tidal well? Yeah.
There's title, yeah. But I think there, I'd have to double check the maps. I think there's inland in that space.
But you're right. You have a wish list.
You don't ask, you're not gonna get it.
Prepare by the time it gets in front of us. Tim, is this here as, just as information?
Yeah, just informational. I just wanted to get it on everyone's radar at the request of Condot, in engineering.
All right, good.
I don't think it requires any type of voting tonight, just that we would accept the project and accept the $1,100 compensation.
Oh, 1,100, sorry.
Taxes are going up.
I mean, do you need something from us to accept it or?
11,000.
I don't think so.
Just in case somebody want to do a motion that, in the event that,
Does that money go to general fund or is that specific?
General fund.
Get it to us.
No.
Goes to our Christmas party.
Wait, where's
Make
the
a
money?
motion to, acknowledge the,
How much? Oh, 1,100, sorry, I did see that, yeah.
receipt of the,
I do
highway
know, I have it
project and
here.
the
Sorry.
taking associated with it.
all right, any second to that? Commissioner Hood.
What are we voting?
Accepting,
was
just in case,
notification.
no, just in case they need it for the check. So accept, in the event that they need it. I don't even think they need it, but if they
I
need
think when
something.
the check comes in, they take it.
Yeah.
The committee.
Not gonna be any discussion.
All right, so all in favor? Yeah. Okay.
And that was for accepting the check for
Well, just
1,100?
for, yeah, it was a motion that in the event that it's needed, if there's a,
I just want to make sure I have it right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Now we're going to 2024 meeting calendar. So that's,
And is this just for concept,
The committee.
acknowledging the calendar for tonight, Tim?
no, it's both.
Or-
Yeah, this will be both on behalf of the agency and the commission.
Yeah.
Similar to last year, my understanding that everyone was favorable to nothing in July,
July.
so we kept that the same. I just wanted to get this to everyone today, and then I would expect, the committee to vote tonight, but maybe think about it. Don't you wait till December unless you want to put.
Well, there's not enough of us here, but we will vote on this, but also in December, we'll also need to vote on officers.
Right.
So put that on the agenda.
Okay. Mr. Boucher?
Yeah.
I spoke with him yesterday. I also spoke at the first selectman's office that the commissioners have the ability to, I think, carry their office till January, pending reappointment by the new regime. So I don't think
Who's?
Rick is due this month.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that's what I was told by the selectwoman's office yesterday.
Usually as a courtesy carry over.
Yeah. So he could still come December, presented his reappointment should he decide on by the select person.
Yeah.
In, sometime at the next meeting in December.
Okay. Oh,
So you could be out next year?
Could be.
it's not reappointed.
I kind of Republican. More of an issue. Wouldn't make,
That would be disappointing because he's very good.
it's very good. I don't think it would make sense.
You would hope that the last 2 years, whoever's making these decisions, whether it's selectmen or his people around him, would see the progress that we've made as a piece of unit, if you will, whether we're independent, Republican or Democrat, I think everybody here has done an incredible job.
Well, I think it would be a good idea if the chairman, if he so deems so, should write a letter on his behalf, and if the members of this commission want to sign it for his reappointment.
The chairman will take that
Such a
into
good
consideration.
addition to this committee. I think that would be a good gesture.
Chairman will take that under consideration. Excellent. All right, so we're moving on to old business, Roman numeral 5.
And what should that for me? I'm gonna do it for you.
No, they're just gonna assess the
Vote
on all.
I thought of you when I read that article.
So you somebody who's a crab?
Oh, this is a nonpartisan.
No.
Show.
Right.
No. Sorry, we're moving on to old business 5, number 1, request for approval by Aquarian Water Company Watershed Management Plan.
They are not here, but as we recall from the last meeting, that they had a short window for this commission to approve what they presented. We didn't have a formal vote last time, so they just to codify requested to me an email that this commission discuss an approval for their management plan of the forestry management plan.
Oh, the guys that were here, oh, okay, yeah, I remember that, yeah, sure.
And, give them a decision either way. Some of the management, forestry management impacted the town of Fairfield as well as other towns.
Sorry about Marion.
Yeah,
How long will they be working?
How long? I don't. Part of the project is in that area.
Yeah.
As well as thousands of other acres, each been nearby. But they presented this forestry management plan at this last
at the
meeting.
last meeting,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fairly comprehensive. Yeah,
And they did have a finite block of time that they that could be discussed, and then would like, obviously, they're requesting approval.
They seem very knowledgeable.
yeah.
Generally do a really good job with their watershed management. I mean, they're proactive.
Any commissioner want to bring a motion forward?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Commissioner Hood puts a motion forward to approve the Aquarian Water Company Watershed Management Plan. Anybody second that?
I'll second.
Commissioner Fain seconds that. All in favor? Aye, all around. Okay.
Forward thinking. They seem very together.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Well, there was different
They seem genuinely
contingents.
concerned to.
Contingents. There was the Aquarian guy, and state forester here. There was a
Yeah.
whole bunch of.
It's a combo between them and DEP,
NDP.
so
Yeah.
it's not going out of control.
Yeah, that-
I think a good balance.
that's so good. And they were open to working with you as well, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's good. And
The next few years are going to be really difficult in terms of forest management because of all the diseases. And if this beech tree disease actually manifests the way it looks like, our forests are going to be decimated. So.
That was discussed at the last meeting as well.
well, let's hope not.
The forestry management plan.
You walk through certain places in town, Fairfield, Woods, and it's like, it's sun.
Yeah.
It's a totally different experience. Just as you say, in a couple of years.
Yeah, well, it's crazy how many trees are gonna get, yeah,
Really spreading very quickly.
it's spread everywhere. Well, how many years it's gonna take to kill the trees?
All right, so Roman numeral 5, old business number 2. Update UI, Fairfield Congress Railroad Transmission Line, 115 KV rebuild project. I mean, this is exploded all over town. We all know that. So, Tim, is there?
Just a brief update. I have, as you saw, I circulated pre-filed testimony through town special counsel who's handling this at the moment. That hearing is tomorrow where I'm may or may not testify on behalf of the town. Really, this started again, as this commission knows, my concern on behalf of earlier back in April, encroachments on two specific conservation easements on private property, as well as half a dozen or more proposed monopole locations as part of this project on private property outside of the CONDOT right of way and within proposed easements by UI adjacent to wetlands and water courses. So that part of that pre-filed testimony, and if there is, if I'm testifying or cross-examined tomorrow, I'll be expressing that concern, for as it relates to inland wetlands and water courses with, significant disturbances to put these footings and poles in, on private property without, the agency's jurisdiction.
As
That's a concern for me.
as chair of this and the inland wetlands, certainly, while I am an attorney, I'm simply thinking about it as a chair. I believe that if there's anything that's on private land in the town of Fairfield, our jurisdiction is triggered. So I don't think UI can just steamroll in and say, oh, well, it's in the right 3 feet to the left of the conservation easement or whatever, right of way, whatever it might be. It's on private land, doesn't matter who's doing it, you gotta come in front of us.
Exactly. Same feeling. So
Thank you for saying that.
we'll see what happens. I'll provide the commission and the agency with an update. Tomorrow it starts at 2:00. It may go for hours and hours.
Sure.
So
Should we shoot him a letter on that behalf? And
No, he's our agent.
sort of,
Yeah.
And duly noted how grateful we are for that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that is a real burden on you. I don't know, I'm tired, but I'm just trying to express that I really appreciate the work you're doing on that.
I originally wrote a letter to Attorney Herbson Weaver, another memo similar to my April memo, expressing the same concerns. They then turned that into the pre-filed testimony, so it captured the same concerns, just in a more legal format. So
I think we all read it. I know I did. And Mr. Hood said he read it. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the word.
thank you.
Excellent. Number 5, old business, Roman numeral 5, old business. Number 3, Commission Subcommittee participation in the Plan of Conservation and Development. Commissioner Fain?
Don't have any,
Okay, did you have any discussions with any other commissioners to, no? Okay, there's plenty of time, but I know we set up the subcommittee, so just whenever there's something new, well, let us know. All right.
I just wanted to put it on there as a placeholder.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I did have the conversation with Director Wynn from Town Planning and Zoning, just letting him know after our last meeting that we've set a subcommittee on this end, and we're happy to engage with his side
Okay,
when it allows.
Yeah. Perfect, thank you. And Commissioner Fain, thank you for taking that up as well. Excellent. Roman numeral 6, open space land acquisitions. Number 1, 191 Algonquin Road, 0.63 acres of inland wetlands on October 20th, 2023, to be added to 3.71 acres acquired in 2022 as part of the town's Rooster River flood mitigation project.
Roman numeral 6, as I stated at the last commission meeting, just a new thing to keep this commission apprised as to what the department is doing with the Land Acquisition Commission, since acquired lands fall under this commission's jurisdiction. So the latest is this parcel, which gives the town access to 150 Villa Avenue parcel from Algonquin. At the same time, working with town engineering department, we're looking to alleviate flooding, road flooding on Algonquin now that we have acquired this parcel formally. So we'll have, access from 2 points, but also plans to pipe water into this mitigation project at 150 Villa. I think it's gonna work out really nice.
Yeah.
SLR has the design.
It's gonna be interesting because the commissioners, we walked it and we're just interested in what's gonna happen there because it's just, we weren't quite sure. We saw some concrete things that are already there. So hopefully whatever happens there is enough to help that whole area.
Yeah, so big picture, as you know, we acquired this, you'd heard from engineering a year ago with SLR, but there's 2 large stormwater conveyance structures under that parcel from Algonquin that are gonna get cut, daylighted, and used as a whole floodplain for that whole area. It's gonna be a wetland mitigation and restoration area, basically for detention and water quality improvements. But now that we're adding a second piece of input through this Algonquin parcel, it will basically just be a big flooded, improved wetland. And hopefully be one of the pieces of the puzzle to the Rooster River mitigation project.
It's a big deal because we were even talking about where's all this water coming from, right? We're from Bridgeport, from East, just all of these water courses are interconnected and they seem to kind of diverge there in some area, right?
Yeah, it's a big parcel. We have the acreage. Most of it's wetland soils already, so it's already, kind of prepared. I think the quality, part of the project will improve the quality, ecological quality of the habitat with certain improvements. But as far as flood mitigation goes, that's the ultimate goal, to handle a lot more water.
Is there any need for us to coordinate with Bridgeport, any of the efforts that they're doing with pressure mitigating?
For this, I'm not aware that engineering's or their consultant is working with Bridgeport since it's at least this section. From a surface water course standpoint, it's all in the town of Fairfield. But yeah, eventually all the water, both sides of the line move
Doesn't care about the town.
Right.
Move say.
into this water course at, whether it's further north or further south. But that's why are currently working on further north, the Fairchild Wheeler Golf Course, similar projects. And then, further south others, so it's a multi-tiered, yeah. But I think this will be a good project and that's gonna come before, as you guys know, is coming, so you'll hear more about it, but I just want to let you know about the parcel acquisition that's strategic.
Right.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Open space and acquisitions, number 2 and number 3, you can, I guess, do about together.
Similarly, just as a tracking, self-made grading system, to keep track of the pace, acquisition pace is 1 parcel for a little less than every 4 months, since I started in August of 21. So, number 3, I mentioned before, continued 816 and 798 Sturgis Road for acquisition. It's about 2/3 of an acre combined. They're 2 separate lots. I met with Community Economic Development Director and the property owner this morning to discuss further options. This commission and Land Acquisition Commission supported the acquisition of both parcels. As you know, this is adjacent to Perry's Mill Pond open space on Sturgis where it meets Bronson. The owner is still has been patient, and we're exploring options within Town Hall.
To acquire the house and the
House and the vacant parcel.
doing out there.
He is planning to move and sell it. So if we can acquire it,
You made it quite a mess out there, though.
Other departments, including Blight, have been working with Mr. with Juan, and things are happening and moving forward. So he's
The town would require that the whole parcel, both parcels, and raise the house.
it's possible we're discussing certain options. We're looking at a big price tag. I've secured the funding for the vacant lot, but
A lot is mostly wetlands.
um there's some are adjacent to.
Is that the one where you dug all up with the backhoe on it?
Yeah. You have the lot adjacent to it has the house. Both obviously abut our open space, which would be strategic.
Troy, it's nice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think at some point, or she's across the river, right? In the red house? Yeah. Also, but this house has some history too. So we're looking into one where we could get the rest of the money, but at this point, Director Barnhart and I are gonna pursue the retaining an appraiser to formalize it, and then
Would we have to clean that up too?
it's possible. I have never been in the house.
I mean, the whole property is like, it looks like,
Yeah, there's been some.
it looks like a bomb went off there. And it looks like that's for a couple of years now.
Yeah. But strategically, it could be, repurposed and, be a nice space possibly for.
Part of the open space laboratory, like,
Yeah, and that's one thing we discussed was, can we work with the Board of Ed and Mill River Wetland Committee, who runs the River Lab, to use that? Can economic development repurpose it for some other need? So if we're looking at $1 million, we, need to have some kind of important reason to
yeah,
spend.
no, something should be done there, because it is, it looks like somebody that's kind of like went crazy there.
Yeah, I, from my understanding, I haven't been out there in the last week and a half, but it was under, in progress of cleaning up and removing vehicles and,
It looks like they're doing something, but yeah, for a while there, it was just,
yeah, a lot of vehicles.
a lot of stuff all over the place.
So that's still moving forward as a possibility, until it's not.
That's why you have that there. You keep us posted as we keep going.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7, bills and communications. Number 1, CAC IWC membership renewal.
Just to put that under bills, I was aware, when I spoke to Alicia Moisen, who's our Fairfield County rep for Kakiewicz, prior to, this weekend's event, that Town of Fairfield, membership required renewal. I think before this was printed, I had already submitted our written payment to Kakiewicz, so. Just to put that on there.
Under the conference.
I mean, they let us in.
It's well worth.
Yeah.
It's needs
It's
to be
well
a
worth
member of CAC.
Member, really, very good content.
They do a lot of, they publish a lot of good publications, informative stuff that, they have that, and, cut twice a year newsletter too. It's really good.
Yeah, it's well done.
Well, sounds like everybody's happy.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
You went.
I went.
He ditched us though.
He did, well,
He ditched us.
would you care to give us a little feeling for the,
I was going to give Tim an update tomorrow.
what was it like?
It was fascinating, actually, for me. I took tracks that were very conservation, open space focused. That's what my swim lane, so to speak. Luckily for us, the state has chosen the Venza maps, which, Tim, we've been looking at as far as possible mapping of our open spaces. So there's resource, we'll talk about this tomorrow, but there's a lot of resource coming from the state and programs via UConn and other associations that we can take advantage of moving forward as far as removal of invasives, planting natives, connectivity. There's a Greenway program where we can take our trails and map them into the Connecticut Trail Finder. And that supports grant opportunities for us in working with, that's why I asked about Bridgeport and Fairfield. They're really about connectivity. The state is looking at how can we connect the communities together via open spaces, walking trails, greenways, things like that. And they look very favorably on that kind of proposal with respect to grants. So there's a number of grant opportunities. I thought it was great, and resources that we can have present to our commission as well and provide us with, an update on the various programs. There's, federal money is at the state level now and it's there to be spent. So they're looking for people to apply for grants. So I'm hoping we can take advantage of some of that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Did you go to that workshop on the violations?
Yeah, very interesting. Really, they were trying to give us kind of a foundation, some mechanics of the process and what we should be aware of. And there was a focus on, well, we've already talked some about that here, about what approach you want to have as you move forward, what signals you can send, and how things can change over time if you send some consistent signals. Very interesting. We met interesting people. And everybody likes to exchange ideas. It's a good atmosphere for lunch. People tend to just sit wherever they sit and start talking and comparing notes. So actually, I think Fairfield was, we were talking about Tim, and the way I described it is when we were sitting listening, we were like those things in the back of the car. Yep. Because Fairfield's actually pretty big in terms of population. So we were sitting with someone who, well, they were kind of pressing us, and I don't know the community, but, they were maybe 17, that like a quarter. Fairfield, so that's an interesting way of comparing. With Tim's efforts, we are very much on target.
Oh, yeah.
They were focused on, gaining access to property legally and how the noticing should be done. And yeah, I'm not kidding. So I think we should be grateful because Tim is really, it was like ticking every box.
It's Tim, AKA Vernal Pool Bishop.
That's right.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, no, I thought-
The day went quick.
It was an excellent,
Right.
an excellent opportunity to meet with people. I met your counterpart from Westport, who we're going to be talking to.
Sounds great.
Yeah, great guy. He was in the mapping session with us. And so,
Well, I mean, I was insulted that, I didn't want to sit with us, but still, I thought it was good that we were split up.
Good to mix.
And we went to 2 tracks and we had a
Now,
couple.
I think you really should preface that on previous experience
Yeah,
and
I knew you weren't
the
gonna.
signals that have been sent.
All right. Yesterday, I know when I'm not right.
All right, so I guess there's no legal enforcement actions. We'll go
I
to.
just have one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
to write in briefly,
Sure.
just to mention the email I circulated the other day from the response from the landscaper
Yeah.
for water extraction on Cross Highway.
Positive response.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think so. And he asked, in the email, what can I do? How do I get a permit? Who do I talk to? What form do I fill out? So, was the response I was hoping to get in the last 6 months from Bartlett, which never came. And Tom and staff is still staking the place out to try and catch them, but never catching them in the act. But
Trail cam.
Yeah.
yeah, it might trigger every time a car goes by.
Bird flies by. Take a picture of the bird. Next thing you know, your whole memory is full.
I have to go through all this
If
data.
headlights are on, it blocks out the whole screen.
So it
Because
was,
that's a big weed.
yeah, it was a positive response, and I think that either this commission or the agency can have the discussion of how you want them to proceed moving forward. Is this a full inland wetlands permit? Is this, hey, come ask and give us some details and we'll,
$1,100.
grant permission for a certain duration,
Yeah, because in the letter, they said that training from that as well.
And to that effect, I emailed Colin in Westport. They have their own ordinance where they actually do some more hands-on monitoring, like show me your hoses, show me your check valve so water can't go back into the stream, stuff like that. So I got those information from him yesterday, and we have a call Friday. So I'll be able to at least come back to you, you guys with some more,
Yeah, but that,
what another town's doing.
yeah, but that would be an ordinance. That would have to
Right,
go
but
to-
maybe it could be, some of that could be built into some
Okay,
type of informal permit.
We have a hydrant in Westport too for Aquarian Group.
Yeah. Yep, they do.
okay, yeah.
So I'm still gathering information. I put them off for now.
That's the important thing is the check valves and making sure that, you don't get.
Backflow.
Yeah.
Backwash and, so just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
Thanks, Tim. That actually great job where you got somebody to acknowledge.
Yeah.
Wrong, apologize. I want to do it the right way. And they kind of confirmed that everybody else was doing it too.
Yeah.
So all of that came out
Stop
of
for
that
now.
one. Yeah. One
Well,
response.
that's very much what we were doing on Saturday. You brought the parties together a week or two ago, and they were talking exactly about that as being, well, you should really try this and try and de-escalate in a coherent way. And we're just sitting there like, yo, wow, we just watched this last month, so.
All right. Anything else, Tim, under legal enforcement?
No, that was the only one I had written in.
Then we go on to 9, staff reports, number 1, and it's just a series of bullet points. You can go through them if you'd like.
So there's been a vacancy in the department from the workshop. We have a conservation crew leader, which was the former crew chief position where Tom was prior to being manager. That was filled, which the employee started on the 6th. So his name is John Paul Bross. He's been a huge addition and help, not only just in the set of hands, but his drive and ability to assist Tom with the crew and projects has been awesome. If Tom wants to say anything, he deals.
The kid has been, man, he's been phenomenal. Before he even started, he was required to get a boating license. He went the weekend before, drove to Lyme on his own dime, took the class, passed it. Tim, I didn't realize that you had to take that inland wetlands class. He started last Friday. He called me up Saturday night. He goes, I'm done. I was like, holy cow. So he's a go-getter and very, very motivated. He's been a huge help at the workshop.
Great. Good.
What's his last name? Sorry.
Ross, P-R-A-S.
Thank you.
Second bullet point item, after I think just a little over 15 months, finally got the final piece to the puzzle from the Army Corps for the South Pine Creek tide gates that's at the railroad bridge.
Yay.
But yeah, probably 16 months waiting for that piece of paper. It came in a week and a half ago. So that's good. We're moving forward now with RACE. The next step will just be to finalize and formalize all the drawings and prepare that document for RACE to generate an RFP for contractors. As you recall, that's going to involve removal of the railroad bridge mock-up near the parking lot, and then replacement of the 3 current tubes with really ultimately 5. So we'll have some extra control and capacity there. I just put on here tree planting. Tom and the crew have been, they installed 2 pin oak and 2 sycamore in the adjacent to the soccer field. It's behind Sullivan. It's called Wolves Swamp. If anyone knew or knew that. It's just it was an idea I had. I thought it was an area for improvement and put some native wet loving shade trees there. As well as French Street, put a black gum nice tupelo there after we removed one large Atlantis, but Tom and the crew have also been, now that we're in November with the death of the adult phase lanternflies, have been aggressively cutting Atlantis at Jennings, at Salt Meadow, at Forest near the workshop.
Nothing that bad.
No?
Think so?
Worst summer that I've seen since I've been here.
It's interesting news for the.
The phone didn't stop all day long. So,
Westchester was bad.
at the recommendation of Connecticut DOT, Forest Service and the Ag Station, we've had the discussions not to cut Atlantis until the adults have died. That way the egg masses are on trees that we chip, and the chipping process crushes and
Kills the eggs.
incinerates the egg masses on the tree, so.
Plus we take those chips to the dump to be burned, so they don't go to Denali to get recycled.
And the last
So it's
bullet,
not mulch.
no, it's not getting spread to other places.
Not good for anything.
For a walk at Sherwood Island, like the attack of the lanternflies. It was
They're everywhere. It's just, it's funny. They put an article in the paper, and in my office, they're everywhere.
I was fishing on my boat at Sunken Island.
Anytime we see an Atlantis, I'll see lanternfly.
I feel left out.
Yeah, so,
I don't have a story yet. No, I haven't.
No, yeah,
They're everywhere.
if nothing else, to combat the lantern,
That big,
we're
thing, they're
removing invasive species on open space, so.
in there right when they were.
And then the last point, the latest new signs to go up at open space, was the main entrance at Lake Mohegan parking lot. If anyone saw that,
Everybody thought.
some are going in at Salt, Meadow, at the cul-de-sac, where condos are,
About 3 years.
Mountain Laurel. And, the Brentwoods are done. We're just waiting for Eversource and their contractors to complete their work so they don't get run over. But also Brentwoods, I'll also mention, that the new gates, were going in.
I saw them marked,
Yeah,
well, I
I
had,
think the posts are in, right?
So they're in there.
Posts are in.
It looks nice.
So it's
Nice.
progress.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim. Any questions, commissioners, about that? No.
yeah, I'm just tired,
Good.
just listening to your
Boy, where'd you
schedule.
have this?
Well, yes, listening to Tim's schedule and you're just everywhere. Just,
It's nonstop.
Pat, you got plenty of news for your,
Everywhere all at
your
once.
website. There's plenty of interesting stuff.
Yeah, the website's been great. I hope everyone's got to check it out. I've added a lot of mapping resources too. Which are helpful to the public as well, so.
Very nice. That could fall under other, so that was 10.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Other, I also just wanted to add, the land use training email that I circulated. If everyone got that, just wanted to mention it,
I think I'm doing.
make sure they
tomorrow.
saw it.
Yep.
If there was any interest.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else from any commissioners? Nope. Okay, in that case, we're adjourned. 8:08.